Alright everybody, welcome back. I hope you got some good food in your system if you're out here on the West Coast. And if you're on the West Coast, I hope you woke up from a nice nap that we have. We're back here with the last match of the evening. Lopsang Lama, who's at the table right now, is playing Dan Bisonette. Lopsang is definitely a firework player. He likes to take a lot on, and it's not a great way to start for Lopsang. What advantage Lopsang might have is Dan just came off a marathon of a match, almost 4.5 hours. So we'll just have to see how that plays out in this match.
David Putty, checking in.
Good to have you back, David. Did you get fed and rested?
Yeah. Actually, I was over chatting with a couple of people in the audience, just seeing if they were enjoying it, and they were.
Excellent.
Yeah. In reference to what you were saying about Dan coming off a 4.5 hour match and Lopsang kind of sitting in the wings all this time waiting for this match, I might give the first advantage to Dan here in the early stages. But I think once Lopsang gets warmed up, once Lopsang gets warmed up, the tiredness that Dan might have might affect his focus. So, if I was guessing, I'd give Lopsang the advantage over the run of the match. And I think that miss that Dan just had in the blue ball is a sign of tired. His ability is certainly way past that.
Yeah, I'm also wondering where Hussein Rami is. He's not been in this tournament either. There's a few faces at that. And Omar?
Omar, I know Omar was over in England at one point, not long ago.
Okay.
And but I haven't seen him for a while at the tournaments. But then I was missing a number of the tournaments as well. My schedule was really busy.
You know, it's quite possible. We put the deadlines out, and they just missed the deadline. Like, we had a full slate here. We had a full slate last week in the Westerns. Richler is filled up. So if you want to play in these tournaments,
speak up.
Yeah. Or front us some money so we can get bigger rooms and more tables.
Build bigger snooker halls.
If you build it, they will come.
Great shot. This will certainly be a good test of Dan's temperament and stamina.
And that gentleman in the gray hair and the jacket, that's our tournament director right there, Gord.
Referred to as Santa Claus by his friends and family.
I wonder if he's ever referred to himself as Santa Claus.
I don't know. He actually has.
He
acknowledges that Santa Claus is inappropriate. Uh-oh. So now here Lopsang has to nominate a color verbally before he shoots, so that his opponent, and if there was a referee on the table, would know exactly what ball he's shooting for. Likely to try for a green or something like that. He's likely to go back a couple of times here till he gets his range on whatever color he's after.
Interesting. Cliff Thorburn had a dilemma like this once. He was queuing over the pack, and he was just, he said black ball, black ball, black ball, and at the very last moment just went yellow.
Actually in reverse. And the reason for it is this, because he was actually playing the black ball. But he says yellow ball, yellow ball, yellow ball.
That's right, yes.
And then just before the final stroke, he says black. And the reason for that is that if his cue touches the reds while he's feathering the ball and he fouls, it's only a 4-point foul. If he hits it, if he was calling black, black, black and he touches the reds, it would be a 7-point foul. But he warns the referee, he tells the referee in advance that that's what he's doing.
Maybe that jet lag is coming into effect for me.
Could be.
Who knows?
Yeah, you came all the way from the west side of Toronto, right?
Yeah, where there's mountains.
Yeah. So Lobsang has missed twice. He's obviously telling his opponent what color ball he's shooting.
Uh-oh.
And that's going to be a 6-point foul. This is where they, had they been thoughtful, might have called Jim over, because now a pink ball and a few reds have moved.
That was a 6-point foul.
And that's only been 3 attempts.
Yes.
It's 4 attempts. You can put them back 3 times. As some of you who may tuned into the Westerns, we only did 2 putbacks and 3 attempts.
And they're talking with Gordon Winnie, the tournament director, so they will be aware of the rule.
Interesting, just a little, for some reason our screen score is just a little delayed. As the score on the bottom of our screen reads correct, it is 22-7 for Dan. One with the little hiccup over there of that screen. Dan is he a local boy here from Ontario?
Ontario, yes. And I'm not certain where. I know him, I haven't spent a lot of time chatting with him, but so I don't know a lot about him.
And then Lobsang's from this area as well, correct?
Yes, he's originally from, if I have it right, Tibet, but lives just up on the northeast side of Toronto, somewhere up in that area. Has a young family and tries to balance snooker and family and all that, but
He is a young family. He looks like a young buck out there.
you'd be surprised.
Okay.
He's a little older than he looks, but
But he's always a regular at these tournaments,
Yes,
is what I'm saying.
I played him in a qualifying tournament in Kitchener-Waterloo one time, and he ran 130 points on me in a frame. So I can speak firsthand of how proficient he is around a snooker table. It's gone a little far there. He has a couple of low percentage options here. He may just opt for the safety. Or attacking. That's a good shot. Both of these players would certainly be aware of each other. So they know what each other's capable of. And
What channel is that?
Yeah, Dan could still be running on the adrenaline of the last match.
Yeah.
It was a quick turnaround for him.
very nicely done.
So it looks like this is one of our last matches. As we can see, Craig Carey and Dean Furier are still on the table on the far right.
If you come over.
And I know Fern Loyer and Jason Williams were playing on that back table as well. It might be, I think it was 3-2 for one of them. So that one might be finished, or yeah, Fern's grabbing his jacket, so maybe we can see him as he walks by to see what the result is. If it's a good one for him, he'll be receptive.
Mm-hmm. Dan is certainly taking advantage of the opportunity here. We have a thumbs up from Fern as he has been successful over Jason Williams. Jim Jacks has been called over to see if the pink ball spots. Clearly not.
Yeah, and that little break in the action, I was actually talking to Jim a little bit about that incident with the pink ball in the last game with Floyd and Alex. And he says, with these guys being their own referee, technically it's not a foul because the player is acting as the referee to re-spot the ball. But he did give a big eye roll at that gentleman that commented on
from the audience.
Supposedly, Jim has been keeping an eye on that gentleman all day as he's walked in the door earlier today, and he hasn't shut it up. If that's a polite way of saying
Shut it up?
Shut it up. Has not.
Jim is from England or Scotland, and he's like a foreign country. They speak differently.
That's true.
Shut it up.
Mm-hmm. Well, David, if you are correct in your crystal ball, Dan has come out strong here in this first frame. You might hear the cloppity-clop behind us, and that's because Monty Python is in town and they're doing a rendition of the Holy Grail. No,
He's lying.
We're close to the washrooms, and some of our female audience members are needing to take a break.
In boots.
Mm-hmm.
So we're at 67. So actually this ball represents Dan's frame ball. So there are now just 51 points left on the table. And he is now 60 points up. So Dan took a moment, took a look at the score, knows exactly what it is, and still played aggressive position and for his next ball. Given his point lead here, he'll probably try this combination.
Mm-hmm.
Has he hit it hard enough? In this situation, really, most likely what Lobsang is doing here is he's just loosening up his arm, getting the speed of the table. He doesn't, I don't think, expect to come back and win this frame, but
I'm not seeing Mr. Louis Vazikis. He's left his table, so I see the scoreline is marked 3-1, but I would safely assume that that's probably 4-1 for Louis, so he's moving on. The Black Knight might show up soon, but so Dan takes the first frame in this best of 7 match. Remember, playing a race to 4. This will definitely get people moving. The winner of this will move on to the top 8 tomorrow, the quarterfinals, which will be streaming live tomorrow starting at 9:30, and we will find out who is the Canadian Open champion tomorrow.
I feel like doing a drum roll.
Almost. It's a pretty good quick opening frame too.
Mm-hmm. I didn't actually look at the time of it, but yes. So Dan opted to play a fairly aggressive safety there. Mm-hmm. He could have chipped off the end red, but hit about the second or third one to spread the pack a bit. Now he didn't get back safely, so we'll see if Lobsang's up to it. Needs a kiss. Got it.
Mm-hmm. It was a little bit tricky on that last shot as he had to go over the yellow, and this one's a little tricky going over this red.
Now we'll get a chance to see what form Lobsang is in. Just plays the safety. This is a snooker, but it's what they call in England a baby snooker.
Okay.
Only because it's a containment safety. Mm-hmm. I mean, Dan will come off the side cushion and park it right in the right-hand side of the pack, or something like that. But it's a very easy snooker to get out of. It just stops him from making anything or playing an aggressive safety.
He is getting pace. Okay, perfect.
And the advantage to Lobsang in doing that is now he gets to be the guy who hits the ball down the table, trying to put him into a snooker. Dan's not having any of it.
No. Just when you think Lobsang's taking the advantage, Dan comes back and drills a red into the back of the pocket.
He may have come far enough for that one on the far left. Looking closely. Based on how he hit that one, he actually had more than enough for it.
Yeah.
He could have actually put that in.
Yeah, as we're getting into the evening hours, the pool room is starting to get a little bit more busy with patrons. A lot of them are playing on the smaller tables, so you might hear just a little bit of background noise.
What we have in our camera view here are the 6 snooker tables. There are approximately 15 to 20 pool tables behind us.
I believe so, yes.
Something in that range. There's more than a handful. So that's a great shot.
Can you say 6 snooker tables 6 times?
No, not right now. But thank you for asking.
True. We feel the fatigue just as much as the players do. It's these long days.
My lips are getting tired. That was a great shot by Dan. I'm not sure whether he saw that shot or it was meant as a safety, but
it did look like it flicked off a little bit of another red. It wasn't a direct kind of shot to nothing, shall we say.
Dan doesn't look like he is showing any fatigue at this point. He's ready to play.
I believe he is the Quebec champion. I might have overheard that.
Okay.
I'll have to check with my statistician, but I did hear someone say that he won big in Quebec. But maybe I got in the conversation halfway and he went big at the casino.
Probably just a safety here. Yep. Trying to get in behind those yellow and brown, but just a bit short. That actually was a much more difficult shot than it looked like. He had to hit that with a considerable amount of left-hand siding so that the cue ball didn't go into the pack. Not a surprise that he didn't make the ball, but he actually was quite successful in terms of getting out and playing a good quality safety. Not hard enough.
Was he fortunate though?
There's one at the back of the pack there that I think goes. another one. And a good opportunity for Lobsang here. Nicely came just past those reds, so he has a unhindered stroke. Little smile on Lobsang's face there.
I think he told them to turn on the dishwasher, so that added a few tremors in the room, so that's what that black dropped.
This looks like it's pretty close to not quite being there, but nice shot. He just got away with that.
And you just got out of that comment. Yeah, it's Lobsang finding his groove now.
It's a really nice feeling when you get on a table and all these balls are spread out. If you're sort of feeling relaxed and in stroke, then because none of these shots are, ooh, you got a kiss there he didn't want. None of these shots are overly difficult until you miss your position, as Lobsang has just done. Not that this isn't salvageable, but it complicates things a bit.
I think some of our spectators are having a few iced teas and just don't know their own volume of their voice.
So this might be end of run, unless he can find a combination here or a plant. He's looking at it. The one over on the left-hand side. And he's choosing this one because it gets him out, back down the table.
Well played.
And did it stop for the brown? It did.
Yeah, those combos or plants are much easier when the balls are glued together.
Yes.
And you add some space then.
When there's distance, it's much more complicated. That was a great shot on the brown. Again, made to look very easy. But Lobsang placed that cue ball almost as if he had been putting it there with his hand. And this kind of position of the balls is something that the players all practice. You put 6, 8, 10 reds up around the pink and the black, and you practice running it. So this is a typical practice run. If you can just get your mind in that relaxed state, and you just go about your business. And this next red will be Lobsang's frame ball. He's 42 points up now with 43 points on the table. And that's leaving Dan needing approximately 2 snookers. So with only 2 snookers, so we're 65 we're 43 points, 35. Dan will play on.
And with the red ball being on the table, there's always a chance of a free ball.
Of a free ball, exactly. So if he were to get a snooker and a free ball, all of a sudden he's winning by 4 points. And he has successfully, I think, got the snooker.
Yep.
Good hit. Nicely done.
Acknowledged by Lopsang with a little tap on the table.
Looks like he might have just missed him. Yep. Looks like he had to spin that one around just a bit to get it. And when we say that, we put you're putting extreme siding on the ball, so actually the cue ball curves to get out of snookers. It's like a masse, but mild.
Yeah, if you're new to the game, you don't want to be trying those masse shots early on in your career, or you might have a very angry pool hall owner coming after you.
Well, there's a big wall down at the end of the table with green, yellow, and brown all lined up. And I would suggest is the target Dan's looking at, with the cue ball behind there. He's giving it a good attempt. And got him on another one, but this is one we talked about. This is a little more severe swerve. And again, hit perfectly by Lopsang. But if you were to watch that in slow motion, in that case, from our view, the ball actually starts out to the right and curves back to the left.
You should sponsor that, the David Putty slow-mo cam.
Slow-mo. Oh. Lopsang took a full-hearted swing at that one.
Yeah, I think it hit about 8 cushions.
And he needs to be careful on that kind of shot, because if you're losing control of the cue ball, it can go anywhere. Dishwasher again.
Oh. A few of us did have dinner, so cleaning up the dishes and maybe prepping for the late night crowd. I'm not actually sure how late they stay open here. Do you know?
No. Probably midnight or 1 anyway.
To the actual patrons, but if there's some big games going on, we might see them when we come in the morning.
just hit the pink. If that hadn't hit the pink, it was a solid hook again.
He did well to get by the blue, but didn't get by the pink.
I think you can get this one between the pink and the bottom rail. You might see a 4-rail safety here.
Senior Lobsang.
And
What have you done
he's
here?
given away a free ball. Free ball being, he's committed a foul. In this case, a 7-point foul because the black went in the pocket. Dan cannot see both sides of the only remaining red. So what he does here is he nominates any color as a red, in this case the black, and he's allowed to shoot a color ball immediately after. So this ball counts as 1 if he makes it, which he did. Dan has played great position on the pink.
And the balls are situated kind of nicely. This could really hurt Lobsang if Dan's able to pinch this one.
He wanted that one to go a little further for red in the side, easily, but he's now only down 29 points. So red, any color, and the 6 colors, and he wins. But he'll need them all. He has a great chance here to do it.
Careful there, Dan. I know he wanted to go and grab that green, but he dropped his cue and the rest, and the cue ball was still coming back.
Looked like it was close on our camera, but I think there was quite a distance. I guess that's complicated things, but still very makeable. Here's where he may be tempted to hit it with a bit of left-hand siding to check it off that right-hand rail. Very nicely done.
Yeah. Lobsang just hoping, praying a little bit. How's your luck, Dan?
It's not bad.
That's always the big
Not what he
shot.
wanted. Not what he wanted. He wanted the blue in the side, but he'd be quite happy with this.
Yeah.
This would definitely count as a steal.
That's always the tough shot when you're doing the colors going from brown to blue. So, a lifeline for
16
Lobsang.
points. He needs the blue. He has a 16-point lead at this point. Just the blue for a 21-point lead with pink and black on the table of 13. So,
Is
major-
Dolly too cliche for Lobsang's nickname? Lob saying Dalai Lama.
No.
Okay. Good pot
Lob
there.
saying just potted. That's all he wanted was just to make it. He controlled the cue ball to the bottom rail in case he missed. So he did everything he wanted.
Dan's gonna play on.
He needs 2 snookers now. So Lob Singh's sort of job here is to leave the ball right over a hole, right in the jaws of a pocket, or make it. It's a good try. See if Lob Singh thinks of that soft shot. But that's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Dan has to think of some way to not make this pink ball.
Nope.
Well,
That's a way not to make the pink.
He didn't make the pink ball.
So with that win, Lob Sang ties this match up at 1 frame apiece. We're just getting started. Both players getting their feet wet with 1 frame on the board. Frame 3 coming up in one of our final matches of the Sweet 16.
I guess there's still 1 match going over in the far corner.
Mm-hmm. I might just pop out and see if I can take a look at the blackboard.
Yeah.
One moment, please.
Now that David's gone. So Dan's turn to break off here. Lob Singh has set the balls up. And respectfully gets out of Dan's way.
Yeah, just an update. Dean Fury is up 3-1 over Craig Carey. And they're just getting started on the 6th frame. Or 5th frame, I should say.
And it looks like he's maybe just a bit short from being able to bring that cue ball up table. Yeah. Seems like a small thing, but it really does affect your ability to continue the run.
Mm-hmm.
This is a medium shot that he's likely to make. He's not the tallest player in stature, so he's probably used the rest quite a bit. Using the rest is a different challenge. It's not a typical shooting motion that we have. So,
when I was working with Gary Spence out at the Western Canadians, he had the fortune of playing Big Bill Werbenick. And Bill, not one to sugarcoat it, said, "Gary, you're a terrible rest player. I want you to play this next frame using the rest on every shot. I don't care if you have to put the rest on the rail. Every shot must be taken with the rest." Now Gary's really good.
yep.
So, good practice for any newcomers or youngsters, or even if you want to just brush up your skills. A good practice to do. We're here live at Monte Carlo Billiards for the Canadian Open. We're just kind of finishing up day 2 here. This is our last TV match. But it's Championship Sunday tomorrow. So come on down. It all starts at 9:30. We will crown the Canadian Open champion tomorrow. But if you can't make it in person, you can always tune in to us on YouTube. Just check out Snooker Canada's page, and you'll find the lovely snooker action with myself, David Burney, and David Putty, guiding you through the way.
It was a great shot that Dan played from a good safety that Lobsang had put him in. Lobsang has a chance here to return it. It's gone the other way. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like both black and pink are pretty tied up here.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be kind of a cagey frame here.
It's a good two-way shot that he played. He may not have quite got away with it. Oh,
Thought with that pace
That's
it might have
unfortunate.
rattled in the jaw.
Dan with a good opportunity here to get in and make a few points, a bit of a statement.
Mm-hmm. All right, ladies and gentlemen, just after the shot that Dan is going to take, I'm going to step aside for a few moments, and I'm going to let David Putty grill our president with
That's
the
right.
best questions you got. So I see you have a big stack of paper with lots of questions.
I do.
Or are those complaints for him? I'm not too sure.
We'll have to see. So they're engaged here in a kind of a game of cat and mouse, where they don't want to let the other person in at all.
So, David, if you want to have fun with Mr. Patrick Gigi, I will pass it off, and I'll talk to you, fine ladies and gentlemen, in a few moments.
Have a good break. Welcome, Mr. Gee. How are you doing today?
Very, very good, Mr.
Yes.
Putty. How are you?
Yes. Well, this is we watched a wonderful snooker, a couple of 7-frame matches, and there's been some drama, some great shots. I think the high run we've seen so far today has been 60
Okay.
on our TV table.
Yep. And who made the 60?
That was not Fern, not Floyd. That was
John, Alan
Alan. Yes.
Whitfield.
Yeah, made I think a 60 for us.
Would that have been on the rubber match?
No, that was early in.
Don't know much about Dan Bissonnette. First time I see him play.
He's a strong potter. He's got good safeties. He came off of a 4.5-hour match and
Oh,
came out and won the first game off of Lobsang. So he's
beat the Quebec champion.
that's right.
Wow.
There's a heck of a shot.
That was a nice putt.
As you can see, he certainly had safety in mind as he played that shot and left himself right on the bottom rail with a brown ball.
Lopsang is a pretty special player. I still remember seeing Lopsang play for the first time, and when he gets into that zone, gets a certain look in his eye, a little bit like this look he has on right now, and then you just don't fancy him missing. Yep, he's starting to get that look again. I remember getting a phone call from the manager at Frederick Mall Billiards. Says, "Hey Patrick, who's this Lopsang guy?" I said, "What do you mean, Jeff?" He says, "We're talking about Lopsang."
Yes.
And the time I got a phone call from Jeff at Frederick Mall Billiards.
Yes.
Just said, who's this Lopsang guy? I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "Well, he just got a 140 total clearance, and you know we don't see that every day in Canada." And this is the look. This is the look he gets sometimes, where he doesn't look like missing.
Lopsang is the player that's had the highest run against me personally, and that was at Frederick Billiards, and he ran 130 against me.
Did he?
Yes,
It's
in
nice to
a
watch.
qualifier.
It's nice to watch.
He's just very steady, very confident. He knows the balls are going in.
Yep.
Loves to hit them hard.
Yep.
When he feels like it, he can pound a few balls in, but he's developing more of this touch.
Well, that could be
Yeah.
scary
Yeah.
for all of us. He told me when he was a kid, they used to all get together around the snooker table in Tibet
Yes.
and play.
Mm-hmm. Very nicely done.
Plays pretty good with the rest, Lopsang does.
Yes. I just got a text from a friend of mine, Mark Johnson, who's I don't know if he's playing in a tournament elsewhere or just playing with against a friend, Ted Easton,
Yep.
and he's just run 143 total clearance.
Wow.
That's Mark Johnson from Brantford.
Amazing.
Yeah. So congratulations, Mark.
Yeah.
That doesn't have anything to do with this tournament, but that's a nice accomplishment.
Mark's a nice player.
Yes.
I played Mark in the Richter Cup in this room 2 years ago,
Okay.
and he was nice enough to let me lose 4-0.
The 143 is a remarkable accomplishment. And Mark's a high-level amateur player. Wins tournaments, wins partner tournaments, and is certainly a respected player. So congratulations, Mark. Shout out through Snooker Canada. I hope Ted bought you a beer. Dan was playing that ball, the pink ball in the side pocket, came off a bit of the horn on the top horn and ended up in the quarter pocket. So he has shape and will continue on. And we'll see how much of an impact that has in the game. Patrick has just stepped away for a moment to take a phone call, but he will be back, and Dan is continuing on here. So. certainly has a good opportunity here to put some points up. And certainly has the talent to do it, so we'll see how far he goes here. Somewhere in this run, he'll be trying to move the reds around the black ball so that he can continue on. Certainly hoping not to have caromed into that red as he did. Tough shot in the corner or the side for the pink. Very well struck ball. Very confident. He didn't hesitate. Went down and shot the ball. There is a gap between the two sets of reds just by the black ball. And if he could get into that gap and get the angle, well, he's gone the other way. Okay. That would have been very precise positioning. He actually took a second and looked at that gap. I don't know if he's there, if it was the right shot to take. But his pink ball would get positioned maybe on that loose red. A great shot that was. Carried on a little too far for him, but like he's going for this in the left corner. Very nice. Looks like the green is the one closest to us, of the blue and green in the middle of the table. Tried to get to it. Pink got in the way, but he certainly made the most of this opportunity and got himself back in the game. There's a few options here. Very nice. Certainly put Lobsang under some pressure here. Trying for a two-rail hit. Very nice. This is the challenge in snooker, is this tactical, how do I leave my opponent as safe as I possibly can, and how do I position all these balls so that I have the advantage and not my opponent. It's the part of snooker that's like playing chess. trying to figure out exactly where to leave the cue ball to keep Lobsang in the most trouble he can be. And when you're playing on a table that's 6 by 12, there's a lot of real estate to go to put people in trouble. He certainly left it that there's no red directly on. I don't think that red passes the pink, but maybe. Looking at the combination. Okay. So he's left the one red on, just past the green into the right-hand corner. And Dan made the most of that one. And all this now will depend on is what angle he has for color as to whether he rolls up or plays a color in a pocket. Not as easy as that looked. It's a challenging shot to play. Very easy to miss. Mr. Gigi has returned from placing his bets on the horses.
Actually, I got a call from Stefan in Montreal at the 147 Club. He's
Yes.
complimenting the live stream, the clarity of the camera, and the scoreboard and everything.
It's nice to know they're watching in Montreal.
Oh, he's got it up right now in the pool room.
Nice.
In the snooker room, and
Yeah.
they're all watching on the big screen. So, bonjour Montréal.
Nice shot.
Pour tout le monde à Montréal, Alex Zhang, il vient de battre Floyd Ziegler dans la marque de 4-2. Donc demain, ça va être Alex Zhang contre Louis Fazekas de Sudbury. Ça va être un bon match. I was just telling the people good people in Montreal about Alex Zhang and his results.
Yes. That was a very good match between himself and Floyd. And well fought. He was ahead 3-0, and Floyd fought back to bring it to 3-2, and had great chances. Both of them had great chances in the 6th frame, and Alex was just the one that came out on top. But very good match.
That was a nice cross side by Lobsang. I guess he will need the last red in a few colors. $35 points left on the table.
See the way he's thinking here as to whether he goes for this straight in. He
Great
did.
shot. Great shot. Even has a nice cue ball for the yellow.
Pretty simple stun off the side rail.
Oh, that's surprising. Seemed to have jabbed at that last shot instead of stroking it. That could happen when the nerves set in.
It's something to play at this level and understand that even at this level, the pressure that they feel to make a ball, and
Well, they know the winner of this gets into the last 8, so...
The good thing for Lobsang, he might have the advantage on this table, as the pink and the black are both safe. So even if Dan makes the green and the brown and the blue, he will still need the pink to win the frame. So this is still anybody's frame.
Absolutely.
If the pink was on the spot, it would be advantage Dan.
I don't think it would be, well, that takes care of that situation. Dan got a little lucky there, didn't leave anything. And now we're down to the last 4 balls.
So whoever makes 3 balls here at this point wins the frame.
Not sure if you saw the results in England today.
I saw Mark Selby lost.
Mark Selby to
Out of the World Championship.
Gentleman Joe Perry,
who was playing very well. I watched some of that early this morning.
Well, that's my favorite snooker player as far as technique is concerned.
And Ronnie O'Sullivan is down 6-3.
Nice shot.
Very nice shot.
Yes, that's another, well, not really a surprise. Stephen Maguire is a great player.
Question here is, did Dan go far enough
Looks
to
like
be
it.
able to swing the cue ball?
Looks like he might have a small angle. Might need to hit it with a little bit of left-hand side. Oh, just
Very
stunned
nice.
it.
Yeah.
Now here's a tricky shot.
This is win or lose.
Pressure pot.
Do you hit pocket speed or do you hit
I was
hard
just
enough?
going to ask you the same thing. I'd say somewhere in between, a little firm.
Because you want it to clear the pocket if you do miss, but you want to give it a chance to drop. And he's done that. Nice shot. He's happy with that. You see the way he grabbed the balls out of the pocket?
I saw
Yes!
that. That's right. That's right.
So the players have an opportunity here for about a 10-minute break if they want. I would think that Dan would take it, only because of his 4.5-hour match before this.
Yep.
You might want to go get a breath of fresh air.
Take a little break.
Yeah, why don't we step away for a few minutes and we'll be back when they reconvene. Don't go away. Go get a coffee or a beer or a beverage of choice and we'll be back. Thanks.
See you guys
Bye
in a
for
bit.
now.
The landscape of snooker in Canada is about to shift to a higher level. We have just one question. Are you ready? The Canadian Snooker Tour has seen a lot of changes in the last 7 years. An increase in player participation, tournaments, and yes, more prize money. 3 words, not satisfied yet. Stay tuned for major announcements to come on the Snooker Canada website. Monte Carlo Billiards is the home of Mississauga for the game of snooker. Whether you are a beginner or an advanced player, if you enjoy the game of snooker, there is no place like it. With world-class professional tables, it is always a good time to drop in. We also offer lessons, leagues, and group functions. Great food, great atmosphere. MonteCarloBilliards.com.
Monte Carlo Inns, we're the first to admit there's no place like home. So let us welcome you to the next best place, where guests feel like regulars, even on their first day. Monte Carlo Inns is your home away from home.
Alright everybody, I hope you enjoyed your break. This is David Burney back on the table. It's 2-1 Dan over Lobsang Lama. This race to 7, or race to 4, best of 7 match. And Craig Carey is trying to do his best to hose down the Fury. He's crawled back a little bit, but it's 3-2 for Dean Fury over there on the far table that you can see over there that's still in action. So when a result comes up, we'll try and pass it along as soon as we can. But right now, Dan is into the balls and wanting to add to his lead, and I just probably should have said that. So now maybe he's given Lobsang a chance. That might have just been a little bit fatigued, because I think Dan was involved in probably the longest match we've had so far in the tournament, going on 4.5 hours. Here we have some great friends over at Club 147 in Montreal. Bienvenue. I miss you guys very much. I had a great time 2 years ago when I flew out to do some commentary for my first Richler Cup. Stefan and all the gang out there, top notch, very hospitable, and great tables too. I had a lot of fun, and I think we had a great tournament out there. And we're having some good fun out here, so hopefully we can see some of you guys maybe come up to my neck of the woods out in Vancouver, and we can treat you well just as great as you treated us. So Lobsang going to just compose himself in that interval, and he's back. He's coming out guns blazing. Yeah, he's one of those players that doesn't question his shot too much. He sees the shot, he knows the shot, he takes the shot. And he executes the shot. Great red to be on this black. Yeah, I hope everybody's enjoying watching the action here on YouTube. You can always fire us some questions, comments in the feed. Also let us know where you're watching from. This great game of snooker is a global sport, so we'd love to know where you're watching from. And if you're ever wanting to know what's going down in the snooker scene, you can always visit www.snookercanada.ca, as we have talks of a full-blown national tour next year with ranking points and prizes, a whole bunch of goodies. We have a documentary movie that's in the works with interviews with Cliff Thorburn and Paul Thornley and a few others. A new franchise program which will be launching locations coast to coast. If you're handy with a drill and like to put these tables together, because we definitely are in need of some top-notch table mechanics, we'll be unveiling a program that will help you be a certified table mechanic, as well as our referee program is coming out to British Columbia in December of this year, so you can get your referee certification, because as we can continue to grow and our number of players gets bigger, we need more people behind the scenes, as well as also we have a great coaching program that David Putty has developed. He was taught over in the UK by Steve Davis, and yes, that Steve Davis, the old golden nugget, and learned a lot and brought back some great advice, and puts on great coaching sessions, that's for sure. He had it for 2 days leading up to this tournament, and the feedback was very strong. Everyone really enjoyed it, as well as commentators. If you'd like to join us in the booth, we're looking for commentators, and any volunteers. Scorekeepers are needed as well. And the nice thing about being a scorekeeper is you get the best seat in the house. So, and you get to buy that ticket for free. So, lots of opportunities here at Snooker Canada. And if you're interested in any of these things, you can send us an email at info@snookercanada.ca. But right now, Lopsang has put up a good mark. A 26-point lead, but it's still early in this fourth frame. This is a frame that Lopsang, I think, needs to grab. Going down 3-1 would pretty tough. Oh, there was a nice shot to nothing. Fortunately, cannoned into the black, but got the pot. And I think they're putting cue cases on the table in the back there. So it looks like Dean Fury is going to be moving on. Unfortunately, Craig Carey's campaign to become the Canadian Open champion has come to a close. But don't worry, Craig Carey is going to be back when we're out in Red Deer next week at the Corner Pocket for our crown jewel of the season, the Richler Cup. So one table left in our day 2 of matches. One more day to go. Championship Sunday. We'll have the quarterfinals starting at 9:30, followed by the semifinals, and the big enchilada, the final, to see who is going to be the Canadian Open champion. There's been a lot of great players here, so I'm anticipating that great action tomorrow. Yeah, I had to hit that with some pace, as that pink is kind of tied up a little bit, and the black is way off his spot, way down in the bulk end of the table. Yeah, you just gotta wonder, the longer that this match goes, how much can Dan hold on? Just coming off about a 4.5 hour match, and a short turnaround for him, because we like to keep things moving at these tournaments.
Because even if this took 3 hours to play, that's 7.5 hours with one, maybe two 15-minute breaks. That's a long time to be playing snooker at a high level.
That's what the work day is in France, 7-hour day.
I almost said something, but
What, that they're pretty smart? Wouldn't it be nice to work a 7-hour day?
it would be.
Like, we're getting up there for about 10 hours, so that we've been on the clock.
So it's
His name is, but this name with 2 S's and 2 N's. Sorry, what? This name with 2 S's, 2 N's. Two S, two I. No, two S's. Like this in the last name.
Is that someone asking for your autograph again?
No, actually.
I think we
Really
really need some
disappointed.
bodyguards.
I don't know if Dan needs to disturb these reds or if he can play them in the left-hand corner. No. No. That's unfortunate. So now the question is there a free ball in play? I don't think there is. That red ball on the rail, you should be able to get to both sides through the yellow and blue gap.
Mm-hmm.
You may choose to have Dan shoot again.
Yep. So we apologize for any the Dan followers, as that is not the correct spelling of his name. There is an extra S, and I believe an extra N in there. So.
We will make the correction when we can.
Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, with the scoring system, we're all locked in there.
Yeah.
So he's going to be Biznet, not Biznet.
Well, Dan took a bit of a flyer on that one. Sort of has got away with it.
A bit more motivation for him to win this match, to get into the Elite Eight tomorrow and get the spelling correct.
Yes. It's a smart shot from Lobsang on a couple of fronts. One, he didn't flail away at anything and try and make something tough. But he's also put one red right on the rail.
Mm-hmm.
And that red on the rail doesn't look like a lot, but there are three, I don't have my glasses on, if that's 3 or 4 other reds on the table. And now if Dan were to get in, there's only 32 or 24 points that are available without having to disturb that red. So like we talked about a bit earlier, putting one of the color balls on one side of the table or the other. If Lobsang were to make a red here and not have a great shot, but to lock up the yellow or green onto the right-hand rail would be a smart shot for him. Dan's taken that one off the rail right away and recognizing that he didn't want it left there. So Lobsang will either try and put one back right away or lock him up with a safety from here.
Ooh. It wasn't a true and false situation, it was multiple choice. He was opting for
Obviously.
C and going for the pot.
Nice shot.
Very nicely on the black, too.
He's given himself a fighting chance here. Nice position on that red for the side, for the right-hand side pocket.
Boy, this would be something.
You'll see him make a few attempts to break out that pink and red situation there. Unless that pink goes into the left-hand corner, sorry, the red goes into the left-hand corner without being disturbed. He's actually looking at that now.
This should almost be vintage John Higgins stuff if Dan can nip this frame.
Yeah, he took care of that on that opportunity. It was a tougher, nicer shot than some who don't play the sport might recognize. Be a little close to the rail, but it was a nice shot off one on the side.
There's Renat Denka in the background. His work is never done. He's in the last eight, so he's back on the table practicing and practicing.
So that's a good kiss on the pink there. Otherwise it might have been an easier shot for Lapsang to step in. So currently he's 37 points down. That was a big ball for Dan. Dan needed that one. Pink. He's left him the edge of it for safety. And now Dan's in a position where he needs a snooker and foul.
Look at this.
Took some paint off of that one. How's the finish? Yes. Maybe.
Somehow. Is it? So many questions.
I think he can get there. Yeah. Someone of Dan's caliber here has a good chance of getting a snooker. Unless he has to bridge over top of that brown.
I'm surprised Jim Jack hasn't come out over to this table and been a bit more referee oriented.
Because it's the last table now?
Yeah.
Oh, he missed him. Or did he? Maybe not. No, I think he missed him.
But I guess maybe as a stern believer in the rules, Jim Jack, as he said, he is a roving referee. And he's only to come over to the table when he is asked to come over. So I wonder about how that ruling would work. Does that come up in any of your refereeing, coaching?
There's no... Officially, I don't believe there's such a thing as a roving referee. So it should change from roving to specific. It might be he might come over at some point, but not a requirement or a change of status.
Might be a change in his paycheck. So there's the hook he needs.
A lot of the angles are taken away here. Unless he can get between the yellow and brown and come to rails. like that. Of course, this is a situation where Lopsang would not be charged with a miss if Dan were to get him successfully snookered and fouled because of the point differential. He's got him solidly again.
Raise his hand a little bit.
Hmm?
He raised his hand a little bit now.
He got a kiss on the pink on the way down, which set up the angle for the snooker. So it wasn't the way he played it. It was fortunate that he got it.
And he's got him again. Dan is doing his job. Watch out where this white goes.
Well, he's left him a pretty tough shot.
Well, I kind of noticed that you and Rob were exchanging a little text there. Do we have the correct spelling for Dan's
It
name?
would appear, according to Rob's phone, that we do have the correct spelling. We'll check with him after. We won't change it in the meantime.
You know who I think was trying to tell us was his opponent of his last match, so
Yeah,
loser's
okay.
revenge.
Very nice. Well, game on.
Yeah, this could really sting for Lopsang.
It was only a game or two ago that Lopsang had a big lead and Dan almost stole it. And Lopsang saved it, so we'll see which way this one goes. Position here is not lock. If he were to just draw it off the side rail, he takes a chance on having the blue ball snooker him. So he needs to be thoughtful. Ooh, close to the side.
And does that slide past the brown
He's
green?
he's played it as if it does. And he's certainly playing it as if it did. So a lot of concentration went into making that yellow, so he's overrun the green a bit, but still very makeable. But he's missed it well again in terms of not leaving Lopsang anything to play. Well, a bit of a tempter for Dan. Here's a this a nice shot. Oh, did it come back out?
Looked like it did off that cushion a little bit.
It looked like it turned a little left.
Mm-hmm.
This is certainly a shot I think Lapsang can hit with a little bit of spin on the cue ball. Essentially, he's coming at it directly. Ooh. Not a good thing to miss.
It doubly costly running into the pink, making it a 6-point foul.
Mm-hmm. So now there's only a 17-point lead, meaning Lapsang now needs 2 balls to secure the win. That's what he meant to do the first time. That's very well played.
Mm-hmm.
But that 6-point foul makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. He can get through to a very thin hit.
Yeah. Dan is just playing some nasty snooker right now.
Mm-hmm. Again, great shot from Lapsang. It's out in the open, but it's long and fairly straight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Dan will pass on this one.
Oh, does it go by the blue? Does it go? Maybe just barely, but I don't know if it's got the angle for the pot.
I've just tried to look directly at the table and I can't see whether he can see this cleanly or not. Nope. So now there's 13, oh, 14. So this is now Lapsang's tie ball game. And if this stops in time, it did. This should be Lapsang's frame.
You can wipe the sweat off his brow there. That was a little nerve-wracking, I think, for Lapsang. So with that, pink, he'll tie up the match 2-2. So a best of 3 now. Could we go to another decider today? Our final match of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So
with the way both of these gentlemen are playing, it's possible. There's no clear-cut winner here yet. I'm going to step away for a moment. Be right back.
yeah, important frame here. almighty fifth. Whoever takes this frame is one step away from moving on to the quarterfinals. It will start tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. down here at Monte Carlo Billiards in Mississauga, Ontario. And if you can't make it in person, I'd love for you to tune in on YouTube, on Snooker Canada's page. And feel free to fire us any comments, questions. Let us know where you're watching from, because we'd love to hear where all our fans are from. As well, it's a handy function to subscribe, because then you'll get a notification of when we go live. So it's a really handy feature just in case you've stepped away from your computer or mobile device or wherever you see the live stream. And also like us. It would be really beneficial to us as we try to grow the game larger and larger. So, a chance here for Dan. Can he score heavily with it?
I'm just kind of looking over at Lob saying on the far side. It's a lonely spot to be standing, where you've left your opponent in, and unlike most other sports, all you can do is stand there and watch.
It's true. There's not many games where you're just watching your opponent rack up the points.
Went a little further than he had hoped. I think he's still okay, probably without a rest.
Yeah, Dan's definitely a tall drink of water.
Mm-hmm.
So.
As he went over there, he was just checking as he stuns this ball to see if he can get between. Just like that. That's what he looked for. To know for sure that alleyway was there. Well, continuing on.
True, it does get a little exciting, semi-exciting when there's 3 reds, 3 blacks that have gone in.
A little early for that, but it's certainly there. It's whether he stays for a black on this one or goes for a blue. In the context of a match, most players in this case would go for a blue or a bulk color. Actually, I watched a video with Sean Murphy, who's one of the top probably 6 or 7 players in the world right now. And he talked about players trying to hold it for the blue there versus going down to the bulk colors. And more on a shot like that, he's talking about always going down to the bulk colors. Because you know you will have one. As opposed to having to be perfect or almost perfect on on the blue.
Yeah, 3 is better than 1.
Yes.
You're gonna like those odds.
So Dan is taking a look, I think, at whether he brings the cue ball directly into the pack off this yellow, or if he takes the single red. Directly into the pack. Very nice shot. And I think he has one.
I think so, yeah, that bottom one of the little bunch there.
It's a good indication to see how a player is thinking. If he's willing to take that shot, you lower the possibility of the chances of making the object ball the yellow. And roll the dice as to whether you continue, and he has played that again very well. It's good for the green ball. Nothing wrong with the green there.
No, and we spread out some reds,
Yeah.
so. As you said, it's a lonely feeling just standing or sitting there while your opponent puts these balls into the pockets.
Well, it's not as clear as to what his next shot will be here. None of them are particularly easy, but he's hitting the ball well, so you'd anticipate he'd make this and end up on a block off it.
That's not a fun sound.
He might be going for this or just a pure safety. Kind of
Is
going
it
for it.
there?
Ooh. But obviously not playing shape on his next red. It was a straight pot. See if he could get it.
I think we got a few players from the tournament just on those back tables, just keeping warm. Because I think with the top 8 players, everybody's in the money.
Yes. Might even be with the 16, I'm not sure. They might get a small amount back. This is one thing when you're playing these fine cuts and knowing where the ball's going to finish up after, where paying attention in math class to geometry really helps. Kind of forced Lopsang into this shot, and Lopsang's good enough to make him, and has a tough choice.
Yeah.
The problem here is that red that's sitting right over the hole.
And then taking the blue on, going in and out of bulk. It's tough because you got the bulk colors on their spots. And a few of them were pushed off to the side. It's a bigger target area.
Taking the blue. Pressure shot. No problem. Great shot. Great shot under pressure. He's got his elevator shoes on here.
Has anyone tried to wear platform shoes?
There'd be nothing wrong with it.
No. Or having a very
can't-
long toe.
Legally, you can't wear clown shoes.
Clown shoes. It actually says that in the rules?
Well, you have to wear normal footwear,
Okay.
right? Because the rule is, this is if you look at his body position here, it was risky, a little risky. You need to wear normal shoes because one of the requirements of snooker is that you must have 1 foot or part of a foot on the floor when you strike the cue ball. So the question has always been, well, what if I have clown shoes? with the really big toes.
Mm-hmm.
No, they have to be regular footwear.
Okay.
Oh, now it's a question of good fortune as to how safe he gets here. Dan will be happy to be coming back up. There's a high risk in this. He has the points at this point, but you don't want to give an opportunity to let Lobsang get back in again. Great shot.
Yeah, Dan doesn't really show any signs of fatigue. He's prodding pure into the center of the pocket. About to say, who is it?
Come in. Just short of what he wanted. Bringing out the big lumber.
Mm-hmm.
Just about perfect. He got onto that far side of the blue and can bring his cue ball up to wherever he wants it, to one of these last four reds at this end of the table.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's looking hungry. He wants to move on.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want to go home anytime soon.
Obviously that red doesn't clear the other one. The way he played it, he ended up putting himself in trouble. It was a bit of a misstep on Dan's part. He could have just rolled that blue in and taken the red to the right of the pink. Tried to create a little more position. Another opportunity for Dan.
Yeah, I once heard the great Canadian player Tom Finstead say, he's asking people like, what advice do you have for players and maybe new players? He's just like, have patience, wait for your opportunity. Sometimes you got to play a lot of safe shots.
Yeah.
So, looking forward to seeing Tom again out at the Richter Cup.
Uh-oh. Oh. A few mental errors slipping into Dan's game here.
Mm-hmm.
Just choices that he's making, and this is we even talked about it in the coaching program about nutrition and hydration and tiredness, and we're just starting to see a few hiccups.
But fortunate for him, Lobsang is kind of letting him back in.
Mm-hmm. He's only 31 points down at this point. He's more than capable of making up that difference, so Dan has to be careful. What I'm seeing is that Dan's starting to hit the ball harder.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sometimes, in this kind of instance, is a sign of getting tired. He's played a great control game most of the way. Trading opportunities here. Good for the blue. Very nice.
Yeah, this fifth frame is very important. Or this draws one more frame closer to winning the match.
I always think of it, you want to win the odd numbered frames. The first, the third, the fifth. Because it gives you like a 1-0 lead, a 2-1 lead, 3-0 lead, whatever the. But if you win the odd numbered frames.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's climbing back into it.
And at this point, Lobsang would be quite happy just to keep taking blue balls.
Mm-hmm.
Because it would still give him enough points. Beautifully played. So as we talked about Dan stealing a frame, this could be Lobsang's turn. This is a pretty standard color run-out.
Yeah, nice shot there to avoid the black too.
And at this point, Lobsang would have to get to the pink, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, he needs the pink ball to secure the frame. And he came a little far. So do you take the round the table trip? Answer is yes. Ooh.
I thought that was going to pull up a little bit before.
He's got himself a great chance here to finish this off.
What a clearance
Way
there
to
by
go.
Lobsang.
Nice. Very nice.
The crowd here definitely appreciates it as he takes a 3-2 lead. This best of 7 Sweet 16 match. Winner moves on to the quarterfinals.
That one definitely counts as a steal. He came from way behind. He was 45 down to nothing, I think it was. And he came back to take it on the pink ball, the end of the frame.
But Dan's not out of it.
No.
But his back is up against the wall. Lobsang's job now is to put the gas on the pedal.
He'll kick himself a bit for that one, but how quickly he can let it go right now will be key. Good break off. That's the Ronnie O'Sullivan break off. He always leaves that red. Dan spotted one across the back. Oh, he spread them open again. He seems to like doing that. There was an option there just to tick off the side of the pack. You didn't have to spread them that way. But he certainly seems to like having them more open.
It's nice to have them spread open when you're coming back to the table. But
yeah, so you take the risk of leaving someone like Lobsang a shot like that. If he misses it, your advantage. If he makes it, the balls are all spread open.
Well, let's see what Lobsang can do with it.
Keeps the rest in his hand. The problem with the shot that he's looking at here is that there's no guarantee of position. But he played it brilliantly. Very, very nice.
Thought he was going to play a rest with this shot, but he's got to return it to this end of the table.
He's in a very good position here. And as we spoke of Lobsang sitting there in his lonely chair last frame, Dan is now sitting in the chair going, oh, I want another opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all you can do. That's all you can do is sit there and go, I just want one more chance. Give me one more chance.
But Lobsang's got to be like, not on my watch.
That's
This is
right.
my table, and I want to play.
And that's the Sean Murphy comment. He could have tried to hold that for a blue. Now, whether he played that intentionally, I'm not sure, but it's just fine. This is a continuation shape that he played.
Yeah, Sean's not a real big fan of the wasps, as we found out in London. There's
Yes.
a wasp in the auditorium, and he tried his Jedi skills with his cue to swing and shoo it away.
So Lobsang has overdrawn that ball. This is probably the end of run, but a 26-point start is, although he's left that one over the side, if Dan can hit it thin enough. Might be the only one he can hit with any control. There's the 3 balls on the left where the pack was. I don't think that there's any result from hitting that. And certainly giving this some thought. Very nicely done. The way he played that, there was very little chance of Dan having anything to shoot at. Maybe the one behind the paint.
Even a little further down to that right. So right there, can he get through there?
The
problem is if he misses, it could be disaster.
Yeah. So there's I think a relatively easy safety here that he's playing. No, he went for it.
Dan, you don't always have to listen to me. I'm up here, you're down there.
That might, if Lobsang makes the most of this, and he's in prime position to put maximum hurt on Dan here. Ooh. I'd like that one over again.
Yeah, Lobsang's got a great poker face when he's on the table.
Yes.
You don't know if he's terribly upset or overjoyed.
Oh, that's a nice, it may seem small, but that's quite a nice little bump off the horn there. Otherwise he would have been tight on the rail for this shot. Oh, but he missed it. Well,
40 points up, so Dan's not out of
time. Taking clean the glasses break. And just for, we talked about Jim being close to the match. Jim Jacks.
He's left the building, hasn't he?
No, Jim is actually sitting just behind our camera. So he is actually keeping a very close eye on the match.
Well, knowing Jim, I wouldn't have expected anything differently.
No. Know that he's high enough for that one just above the black. That little kiss, that little rub on the carom took it out, but he's playing it. So Lobsang is beginning to smell blood in the water here. work out just nicely for him. It's a 48-point lead with 75 on the table. From this point, 2 reds, 2 blacks, and Dan will be in a position of needing the hooks.
And that pink is nice and safe on that side cushion.
Ooh, but then again, there's always one more twist, one more turn. So Dan may not have been expecting another opportunity. Not likely to miss the black this time for a 57-point lead with 59 on the table. The drama continues, except for the red right behind the black.
I draw on that Monte Carlo billiards tonight on a Saturday night. This is looking promising for Lobsang.
65-point lead with 51 points on the table. I think we'll see the handshake as soon as this run of balls is over. Dan, of course, being the gentleman that he is, has not walked up to Lobsang as he's finishing his run here. But now I believe we'll see the handshake.
And the handshakes are coming out. Lobsang Lana punches his card to the quarterfinals with a 4-2 win over Dan Bizonets.
Well done, Lobsang. We will see you tomorrow.
Yes, that concludes day 2 here of the Canadian Open, live from Monte Carlo Billiards in Mississauga. We'll be coming back at early 9:30 in the morning, live here at Monte Carlo Billiards, and we'll also be on the YouTube, on the Snooker Canada page, so please subscribe so you can get those nice notifications. It might be an early morning on the West Coast, but it's going to be some great snooker action, lots of great
worth
players.
Getting up for. So after your morning jog and your walk on the beach on the West Coast, watch us.
Definitely. Tune in. So get home safe, everybody, and have a good night.
Have a great night. Good night now.